This is Literature Hub 247, a literature channel where the art and science of literature are discussed. If you are new on this channel, please click on the subscribe button so that you have access to all our videos. That will make you to have all access to all our videos that we have produced and the ones we are about to produce, because there are lots of things to gain here. Today, we are going to discuss a non-African prose titled Invisible Man, written by Ralph Ellison. We are going to do justice to the 2022 past question, that is NECO 2022 questions. We are going to give the answers as expected by the examining body, that is NECO. There are two questions to be answered here. We have two questions here to be answered. The first one is, discuss the character and role of Dr. Bledsoe in the novel. Discuss the character and role of Dr. Bledsoe in the novel. If you look at this question, you see that it is two in one question. It's two in one question. The question says, discuss the character, that is one. Another one is role of Dr. Bledsoe. That's why you have to understand, you have to study the question very well before you answer it. In this case, if you discuss only the character, you are going to be undermarked. The question here is 30 marks. If you discuss only the character, that means whatever you write, you are writing under 15. Even if you write 50 pages, you cannot exceed, your mark cannot exceed 15 marks, because you are expected to dwell on the two, that is the character and role. Now, let's go ahead and answer the question. Solution. Dr. Bledsoe is a black American and the president of the college, attended by the narrator. The narrator believes much in Dr. Bledsoe and looks up to him without knowing that he is the opposite of what you think he is. If you are discussing the character, there are certain things you have to consider, because you have to write on character. The first one is the comments of other characters about that particular character. You see that here we have seen the comments of the Invisible Man about Dr. Bledsoe here. Also, another one is the authorial comments, that is the comments of the author about the character. That is number 2. Another one is your own personal feelings about the character when you read the text. So those are the 3 things you are going to be considering when writing about a character. Let's go on. Dr. Bledsoe is selfish, ambitious, and desperate. He's ready to do anything for him to maintain his power of authority. That is, he's ready. That's a mistake there. Let me correct it. He's ready to do anything for him He's ready to do anything for him to maintain his power of authority, even if it requires betraying his fellow blacks. That is, he's ready to anything on his way. He's ready to crush it for him to achieve his aim. He can do anything to favor the whites at the expense of the blacks. Now let's go to the character. Dr. Bledsoe is presented as a hard-working person in the college. He rises from slum dispenser boy to an office assistant to a founder's assessor after his death. He contributes to the growth of the college. The college facilities are transformed from 50 to 500, and the students' population grows to over 3,000 from hundreds. Dr. Bledsoe is a betrayer. He betrays his fellow blacks to gain the favor of the whites. He flatters the whites and feeds them with the lies that the blacks are living in peace. Now, if you say that a character is so, you have to cite examples from the text. You know, for example, now here it is said that Dr. Blesso is a betrayer, and we cite instances. Let's go on. He's a proud character. It tells the narrator that he is a nobody. He says he is in the position of thinking for the white. He tells them what to think. That is, he tells the white what they do. Tell them what they should be thinking. So that makes him a proud character. Dr. Blesso is full of pretense and deceit. He pretends to the narrator to be assisting him. He tells him that he gives him letters of commendation when he gives him letters of condemnation. You know, he's deceitful, a pretender. He is revengeful. Despite that, Mr. Norton clears the narrator of any wrongdoing. He promises to punish him, and he does certainly. Dr. Blesso is the first person to educate the narrator on his invisibility. The narrator tries to challenge the president on the judgment of him about the alleged crime committed. He tells the narrator that he is nobody and that he doesn't exist. That is about the character of Dr. Blesso. Now the role. You know, there are two ways of doing this. You can split it, and another way is you can be discussing it together. But it's better to be splitting it so that the examiner will be able to identify, to separate them easily. Role. Dr. Blesso is very diplomatic. He tells the whites what they love to hear. He can betray his fellow blacks to favor the whites. He creates problem for the narrator where there is none. He pays him back in bad coins for good deeds. He expects the narrator for offering assistance to Mr. Norton after the latter clears the narrator of any bad act. Dr. Blesso symbolizes the blacks who play their cards within the range of the authority of the white men. Those blacks who are desperate to get whatever they want without minding whose ox is God. He is full of pretense both to the whites and the blacks. So that is the answer to that question. The second question there is, justify the view that the novel is a representation of the African American society. Justify the view that the novel is a representation of the African American society. Now the solution. The novel is a true reflection and representation of the cohabitation of the white and black Americans. It depicts the racial discrimination that takes place in American society. The blacks are exposed to segregation in the society, from their social lives to education, accommodation, job, living conditions, and in politics. The rights of the blacks are violated. A series of injustices are meted out on them. They are not given equal rights like the white, and this is why the narrator has problems. He becomes invisible. That is, the blacks there are badly treated. They are not enjoying equal rights like their white counterparts. The blacks are engaged in dangerous acts to entertain the whites. A good example is the new dancing girl to amuse the white, while the blacks are not expected to show any sign of sexual arousal. The blacks are asked to pick fake gold pieces on an electrified rug. They blindfold the blacks, including the narrator, and instruct them to fight each other just to entertain the white at the Battle Royale program. In the course of this, many blacks are injured. Todd Clifton is unjustly killed by a white policeman for selling sample dolls. If he is white, he wouldn't have been killed. That is racial discrimination there. Reinhardt changes his identity most of the time so as not to be recognized and for him to enjoy some rights. That is Reinhardt. to change his identity for him to enjoy some right that he wouldn't have enjoyed if he remains his true identity. Brother Tab, a black man, tells the narrator how he becomes lame after degrading a chain for over 19 years. While pursuing justice on this, he lost his wife, boys, and a piece of land. The black seats are separated from the whites in the chapel and in the bus. The narrator and the first doctor are denied seats in the front of the bus because they are reserved for the whites. Even inside bus, they are segregated against. Mr. Provo, an 85-year-old black man, and his wife are forcefully ejected from their rented apartment by a white police marshal. This results in chaos on Allen Street, and it gives the narrator the opportunity to deliver a speech that brings him into limelight on Allen Street. You remember the event of the Allen Street where the narrator, that is the imprisoned man, is invited to join the brotherhood because of the speech he delivered. The narrator faces the problems in the college because he is black. He is alleged to have committed a crime by taking Mr. Norton to the Golden Day. The blacks are given mania and most difficult jobs to do. The narrator is given a mania job at the Liberty Paint Factory. His engagement later in the paint factory with Lucius Brockway, a fellow black, is disastrous. He is involved in a set-up accident by Brockway, but nearly takes his life. He is hospitalized and afterwards loses his job. He ends up in the men's house where he stays for months. Now, we can just go back to the question and see whether we have done justice to the question. Let's consider, look at it. Justify the view that the novel is a representation of the African American society. So we see that we have done justice to the question. So it's a representation of the African American society. So if you have not subscribed to this channel, click on the subscribe button so that you join us here and enjoy what others are also enjoying, because we have discussed all the poems, all the literature texts recommended by WAEC and NECO. We have past questions on WAEC and NECO already discussed here. Thank you and God bless you as you become a part of this channel.